I actually got closure from her death. And he's like, I felt so amazing right now. And he said, I've been able to talk about her. And like, he's got tears running down his face. The room's crying. I'm crying, right? And he's like, my mom told me that we can connect and we can have this relationship anytime. And I said, that's amazing. I said, that's awesome. And he tells me, and again, he's just thanks me. And so after that workshop, like I was reflecting on it, and I was like so happy for this guy. Like I couldn't, that up until that point, that was like I had two really, really amazing pieces of feedback from people that I had worked with throughout my workshop. That was the second one up until that point. And so that like confirmed that number one, I'm actually in my purpose. I'm stepping out. That's such a good feeling when you're a part of that experience for somebody. And so that affirmed that to me. But I was reflecting on that whole experience and his whole experience, days later. And it really hit me. And I was like, wow. I was like, if this guy can walk in to this room and not even believe in this at all, and have this amazing experience, anybody can do it. And that was the first time that I really believed that anyone can do it. But there was a caveat that I understood. You have to believe. You have to want it. Okay? So it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if, it doesn't really matter about what's going on inside. It doesn't really matter if you believe that you are the only one that this will not work for. It's that belief that's holding you back. That belief that you're the only one this won't work for is why it's not working. Okay? That's one of the biggest things. And so whether you're a skeptic or whether you're just somebody that thinks that they don't have it, but you want it, or you think it's cool, right? Or you're not good enough, or there's things that you have to do first. There's nothing that you have to do. You are ready right now, just like this guy. There was nothing he had to prepare. He didn't have to be more spiritual. He didn't have to eat some crazy diet. He didn't need to meditate. He didn't need the right crystals. He didn't need anything. So if you are waiting for something to change, for you to improve, for you to find the right technique, for you to find the right guide, for you to find the right situation, it is not needed. It is not needed. Okay? So let me know if that's what you think. Do you believe that? Do you believe, like, August, cool, this is awesome. I see what you're saying. All right. Anyone can definitely connect. All right. But I'm the one person this won't work for. I hope that this story helps ease that for you. All right. I hope that does it. Any questions? Let's go see if we have any questions right now. Where are my glasses? I feel spirits around me. It just seems hard to communicate sometimes. Yeah. That's the hardest part. Feeling them, I feel like is the easier thing. It's just that connecting, right? Because listen, it's just as easy to communicate with the spirit world as it is with any other human. It just looks different. And that difference is like riding a bike. When you first start doing it, you feel like you're going to fall all the time and you're no good. You feel like you're never going to get it until that time you get it and you ride all the way down the end of the block. Okay? That's exactly what this is like. Yeah, good. Jill, so you guys are hearing your loved ones. A lot of you guys are having classes or having experiences. Good. You guys liking the class? Good. Sunshine, I'm glad. Sunshine. So you guys are liking the class so far. Cool. So you're following me. I don't see a whole lot of questions, right? I see you guys talking about, about what's going on in your experiences in the chat, which is great. That's awesome. Like I love to read about your experiences. So good. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page. You guys are following me. Okay. So, yeah, stop second guessing yourself, guys. Okay. Stop second guessing yourselves. You can do this. It is for you. It is for you. It's not reserved for a special few. Okay. And so hopefully you believe that you can do this now. But now here's the next thing. Once I understand, once people believe that okay, this is easy. Okay, August, I believe you. I can actually do this, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be a long drawn out process. It's going to be this, I have to go and do all of these things, all of this crazy stuff. You don't. Like I said, you are ready right now. You can do this instantly. Okay. And I remember when I first had that insight, right? Because remember, I did a lot of reflecting. And one of the things, one of the big pivotal moments for me was when I had that insight of oh, we don't need to do that stuff. Right? And the way that came about for me is when I was going through those 9 years of trying to figure out how to connect with my spiritual abilities and my mediumship. I was going around to doing these mediumship circles. Okay. It's just where, people that want to learn how to be a medium, they get together and they do practice readings for each other. And so I found all the ones that I could in my area, right? I even drove a couple hours to different ones, and I was going to 3 of them a week. All right. And I was doing these practice circles and I was so freaking bad at it. I mean, I was terrible at doing these readings, man. I mean, I would just come up with the craziest stuff and people would be looking at me sideways. All right. But every once in a while, boom, something would come through and I would do a really good reading. All right. And it killed me. I didn't understand why this was happening, why sometimes I would get it and sometimes I wouldn't, why was it random, why sometimes I'd get detailed stuff and other times it was just fluff. I didn't really understand it. And so to give you a little background, the way that we were taught in these circles to connect was you had to kind of go through this process. And depending on what circle you were sitting in, some of them, you just sat and basically they called it sitting in the power, where you just basically sit for 30 minutes just meditating, doing nothing, right? It's to let the energy build, right? Whatever that meant. But anyway, so other places you had to visualize chakras and light flowing through your body and these bubbles around you. And depending on where I was, what circle I was in and what instructions we were given, it would take anywhere between 5 minutes to 15, 20, 30 minutes sometimes before we could actually talk to the spirit. Okay. And so a lot of the times I would sit down to go do a reading for somebody and immediately I feel and sense the spirit and sometimes would even see them right there. But I'm oh, hold on, I got to go through my process. And I'm going through my process. I'm doing the light and my chakras and calming my mind, getting my thoughts, going blank, going through my whole process. I'm ready. Where's the spirit? What happened? Where'd the spirit go? Where did you go? And that's it. I was gone. They were gone, or I thought they were gone. I wasn't connected. I wasn't there. And so that happened a lot, actually. And so I remember I would feel the spirit there and I'd start trying to rush through it and and then I would get all in my head and the connection was gone and and then it was just me being all in my head. And that's why the readings were terrible, because it was just, I would still give the reading, right? And it was just be me in my head the whole time. Because I wanted to do it, right? I wanted to try, I was there to try, and that's how I wanted to learn. And so, anyway, I remember it was I had done this 2 or 3 times in one of these sessions, in one of these circles in the same night. And both times that I sat down to do a reading, it was the same thing. The spirit was there and it was talking to me and I was ignoring the spirit till I got through my process. And so the third time I sat down to go do a reading that night, the spirit was right there again. And I was screw this whole process. Let's talk. Immediately the spirit starts talking to me. And it's August, this guy that you're reading for right now, he was a friend of mine. We were really, really close. We grew up together, but we had this falling out in college. And it was all my fault. It was so stupid. I should have patched things up, but we never spoke after that. And he's like, I just wish that I would have made things right. He's like, we could have had such a good life together. And, you know, it was just, it was just awful, the way that things transpired. And can you just tell him that I'm really sorry and I take all of the responsibility? And I was like, wow, cool. I was like, yeah. And so I give the message, I give him the information, I describe what happened. The guy I was reading for, he's like, well, you know, that's August. That's really a situation that happened in my life. I did have a friend. I did have a falling out. He's like, can you tell me more about like what he looked like? And I was like, sure, because I could see him in my mind's eye too, as he was talking to me. And so I described the spirit. You know, he was this gothic looking guy. He was wearing Doc Marten boots. He had leather pants on. He had the leather vest. He had the, you know, the little chain that goes right here. And he even had a mohawk. And so I described the guy and he's like, that is him. You described him to the T. And he's like, the fact that you said Doc Martens, like you nailed it. He wouldn't get caught in anything else. He would always wear those. And so he's like, but I don't know if he had passed. Like, you know, we didn't speak after we had that falling out. And he's like, by the way, tell him I'm really happy to hear that. And, you know, I would love to connect with him in spirit and be friends again. And so, but he said, I don't know. He's like, can you ask him how he passed? And I said, okay, cool. And so I asked the spirit how he passed. And he tells me I was electrocuted. I was like, dude, you're going to have to tell me more than that. Like, that's crazy. You were electrocuted and died? And he's like, sure. He's like, what happened is I got in a car accident. I hit this telephone pole. The pole fell, you know, with an electrical line on my car. And he's like, but I was okay after the accident. I was a little banged up, but I was fine. I didn't die from the actual accident. What happened is as I regained consciousness, I went to go get out of my car and it was electrified and I got electrocuted and I died right there on the spot before anybody could get to me. And I was like, whoa. And so I gave the information and the guy was like, well, the guy I was reading for, he was like, well, look, August, I don't know about any of this after he had passed. I didn't even know if he's dead. I haven't talked to him, but I am in touch with some family and some friends, some people that know him. Let me go talk to them. Let me go find out, you know, what happened, and I'll get back to you next week. And so next week rolls around. The guy can't wait to come talk to me. He meets me out in the parking lot, literally runs up to me. He's like, August, guess what? My friend, he did pass away. Few years after we lost touch, and get this, his family told me that he died by being electrocuted from a telephone pole that fell on his car after he had an accident. And I was like, I stopped dead in my tracks right then and there, right? And that was like, at the time, that was like one of the best connections that I had with the spirit world, right? And that didn't cross my mind, though, how amazing that connection and that conversation was. That didn't cross my mind at all. What crossed my mind was, I'm never doing any of that bullshit that we do in the beginning of the readings ever again. I'm just going to go in and directly connect with that spirit. I'm done with it. And that was the insight I had. The insight, like to sum it all up, was treat the spirit world like any other person. Just talk to them, right? Just talk to them. Just go in and have that conversation. And once I took that approach, from that point on, that was like halfway through that 9-year journey. Once that happened, like stuff really accelerated for me, right? Once I took the approach of like, okay, treat the spirit world and our conversations no different than I would treat the conversation of somebody that I have here in the physical realm. I started to have deeper experiences, more detailed information, easier connections. I mean, it just led to some amazing experiences, okay? And so I want to stress to you, if you think that you need meditation, if you think that you need these chakras, if you think that you need all of these other things, you do not. Those are actually the things that are holding you back. Those are actually the things that are making it more difficult for you to connect with the spirit world. You just need to step into it and ask for them to come. They will be there immediately, and start talking to them. It's that easy. It's that easy. Isn't that a breath of fresh air? I remember when I had this insight, I was like, oh, I don't have to do that stuff anymore. Right? Who else feels that way? Right? Who else feels that way after this story? Who else feels like that it's nice and refreshing? Like, you mean I don't have to meditate anymore? I don't have to sit uncomfortably still and pound the thoughts out of my head? It just makes things so much less complicated, right? Yeah. And so chakras are just for clearing energy. It's not for communicating with spirit world. Yeah, and even when we do that, like chakras aren't nothing. We don't have to do anything with them. Chakras have their own divine intelligence. It's not about cleaning our own energy. Right? What happens is we need to set down the baggage that we're carrying that's fucking our chakras up, that's throwing our chakras out of whack. Our chakras have their own divine intelligence. They know exactly what they need to do and exactly where they need to be. They are perfect and divine, just like all of our energy. The problem is the baggage that we carry on our energy. We need to set that down. Right? And that's why, you can work with chakras. You can imagine all of that stuff, the light and them opening and clearing and cleansing and shutting down and, all the stuff that you do with chakras, right? You can imagine all of that stuff, but what happens a day later or 2 days later or 3 days later? All of the stuff comes right back because you didn't deal with the root cause. You didn't deal with the baggage that we were carrying that threw the chakra out of place to begin with. Okay, and so that's why I don't even talk about those things. Right? It's pointless, right? I'm going to talk about cleaning up our life. I'm going to talk about therapy. I'm going to talk about resolving those unresolved feelings and emotions that we've been carrying for life. The chakras take care of themselves. Okay? All right. Okay, so at this point, you guys have to understand, right, that number one, it is so easy. It is easy. And that it definitely will work for you. You're not the only one it won't work for. All right. And so hopefully we are there. If we're not, let me know in the comments. If you still need some of that cleared up, if you still think it's not easy, if you want to know more about how it's easy, let me know. If you still think that, okay, even though it's easy, it's not going to work for me, let me know. We will clear that up. All right. Because here's the thing, most people, when I talk about this and when I've done this talk in the past, people tell me, okay, August, yeah, it's easy. Yeah, it'll work for me, but I've tried everything and nothing has worked. Let me know if that's you. Have you been out there trying it all? I mean, the books, the videos, the courses. Have you been doing it and just nothing's there? Or if it is, it's random and it's surface level. There's no detailed evidential information coming through for you. You don't have control. You can't instantly connect. You can't have you're not having an undeniable flowing conversation with any spirit whenever you want. And you've been at this trying it for all kinds of stuff. Let me know if that's you, because I'm going to talk directly to you now. And this is the piece. Remember, I told you this is the part where it all clicks. This is the last piece of the puzzle that needs to click into place for you to be able to connect with the spirit world on that level. Okay? So are you ready? Because this blew my mind when I first figured this out, right? And with my students too, like once they fully take this in, they're like, oh, and then everything changes. It's the last piece. Okay. And so the reason nothing has worked, the reason nothing has stuck, the reason it's still like that for you is because all of the stuff that you're learning hasn't helped you discover your unique way of connecting. That's what it takes. I've worked with thousands of people, okay? Thousands of people. And I've never seen two that connect in the same way. Not even close. Everybody is so different. And so that's why when you're reading these books and you're taking these courses, you're reading about somebody else's method, somebody else's modality, right? I wish I could write a book or write a set of steps and say, here you go. Here are the 5 steps to spirit communication. You do these things and you will be able to connect. Other people try to do that, and then when it doesn't work, they're like, you're not doing it right. You have to meditate better. You need to clear your chakras. You need to be more spiritual, right? There's always a reason why their stuff isn't working. But the real reason it's not working is because it has not helped you find your unique way of connecting. Sure, maybe some of that stuff has worked a little bit. Okay, cool. Those are some of the things that are part of your unique way of connecting. But if you're not if you're not connected with your abilities on the level that I'm talking about, instantly connecting, undeniable conversations, there is no doubt. You don't have to trust anything because it is so real and part of your reality. All right. If that's not how you're connecting, then we got to find your unique way of connecting. We got to find out what that is. Okay. And there's two ways that you can do that. Okay. There's two ways that you can find your unique way of connecting. And I'm going to give them to you right now. Listen, this is the stuff that I wish I would have had when I first started my journey. Take notes. Pay attention right now. If you haven't been listening to me the rest of this, presentation, if you have been just kind of like, wandering around, just having your phone open, sit down, take some notes, and pay attention to me right now. This is what you need to know. Hopefully by my soft, quiet voice, you see how serious I am. I am serious, even though I'll make fun of myself. And, I am very serious about this. So here's the thing. The way that you can find your unique way of connecting is like I did, okay? When I was experimenting and I was playing with things and I was going through and I was analyzing my experiences, right? And no, it's not going to take you 9 years because I'm going to give you the piece that would have changed it and made it so much faster for me. Okay, so I just want to recap what I did to figure this all out, to figure out my unique way of connecting. All right, I tried every single day, almost for in the beginning, pretty much all day long for years. All I tried to do was connect the spirit world. Okay, but if you can't do that, if you can't dedicate that amount of time, you need to try daily to connect with the spirit world. Okay, and you need to get through each experience. That's the hardest part. All right, because a lot of people go to connect and they're like, oh, I'm not getting anything, and stop. You need to keep going even when you feel like you're not getting anything. You need to keep going even if you're making it up, okay? And to be clear, I'm not telling you to make it up, but this is why you need to keep going, is because even when you make it up, that is an experience. That is an experience that you can reflect on. And the more experiences you have to reflect on, the more insights you're going to have about your unique way of connecting. So if you're reflecting on when you are making it up and you're in your head and you know that it's not real, you bring more of an awareness to what it feels like when you're all in your head, right? But if you keep trying daily, eventually, and it will happen a lot quicker than you think. A couple of days, maybe a week, usually no longer than that. If you keep trying daily, you are going to have an experience, right? It might not be this boom, big old experience, but you're going to get like feel a presence. You're going to get somebody saying something to you. You're going to make some sort of connection with a spirit. And when you do, now you have a new experience to analyze. And when you analyze that part of the experience where that undeniable thing happened, you're like, oh, that's how it's different, right? That's how it's different. Boom, big insight. Now you try again. You apply what you learned. You go a little bit deeper. Boom, new experience, new insight. Oh, and so you're tracking, you write down what's working for you. You're tracking your progress. You're going through the whole thing, right? But here's the thing that you have to know about this. This is what's key. This is what would have took my 9 years and cut it down to nothing. When you are trying different ways of connecting, the first time you try something and it does not work, stop doing it. Throw it away. It's not part of your connection style. It's not part of your unique way of connecting. It's not that you didn't do it right. It's not that you need to try harder. It just doesn't work. Only try it once and then move on. If I would have done that, it would have saved me so much heartache, because what I used to do is I used to cling to something that I was trying, and I would just bang my head against a wall trying to make it work, trying to make it work. I would spend months trying to do it. And then I would be like, and I would give up. And I would like, oh, let me just try something else. And then something else would take off. Okay. But I spent so much time trying to make different things work that didn't work for me. Okay. And so I just want to recap. Okay. One of the ways that you can find your unique way of connecting, and I'm going to tell you the other way in a second. One of the ways that you can find your own unique way of connecting, okay, and do it on your own, is to just by doing this, just by practicing, just by trying to connect with the spirit world every day, and then analyzing your experience, looking for the insight, trying again, applying that new insight, tracking what's working, letting go of the stuff that doesn't the first time you try it. You will eventually find your way of connecting. You will map it out. Okay? You will map it out and you will get there. But August, how long is that going to take? I don't know how long it's going to take for you. Doing it that way, everybody is different. It takes them different periods of time. And it really depends on how you're showing up for yourself. But I can promise you this, it won't take you 9 years. Maybe it'll take you a couple of years. Maybe it'll take you 4 years, 3 years, who knows? But if you do it this way, you will find your unique way of connecting, all right? Now, the other thing, the second way you can really skip all of that heartache, skip the trial and error, forget all of that stuff, is to work with somebody that can help you find your unique way of connecting, all right? And this is exactly what I do with my students, all right? The way that I work with my students is I am holding their hand, walking them right into that undeniable experience, right? The hand holding is figuratively. We're working together, right? I'm in the energy with them. We're trying different things. I'm watching how they respond. I'm moving them around. We're bouncing against it. We're coming across all the things that are blocking them, all the things that are in their way, all the times they're in their head. We're dealing with it on the spot. We're moving around, trying different things, and then boom, the connection is made. Boom. It all clicks into place. And there they are. And because I've tracked what we're doing, right? I've tracked what we're doing along that way. Now I can reflect back to them their unique way of connecting. All right. And once you understand that, here's the key. Once you understand your unique way of connecting, it is always the same. You have it for life. It never changes. It's the same thing over and over. It gets easier. It gets easier. But you have to find that unique way of connecting, all right? And working with somebody like myself that has been in the trenches, right? That understands that everybody is different, that you have your own unique way of connecting, that they're not just gonna give you a course and say, here you go, or they're gonna give you some blanket methods to try. Like somebody that understands you all connect differently, all right? They can help you, all right? And if you wanna work with me, I do have some spots available in my mentorship program, all right? You can schedule an interview. The first step to come into my mentorship program, you have to have an interview. And you can schedule an interview by going to the link in the comments or go directly to my main profile and clicking the link there, clicking the website, finding it there. That's the way that you can sign up to have an interview. But listen, my mentorship is for people that are serious about this, okay? That are ready to do this, okay? You're in a stage in life where you have the time, you have the resources, you're dedicated. There's nothing else really that's more important in your life. You want to develop your spiritual abilities to connect with the spirit world, to make better decisions, to connect with your energy, to read your energy, to know exactly when your energy's off, why it's off, and what you need to do to get things back in check, to tune into your purpose, figure it out with clarity, and step into it and walk it every day. If that is where you are ready to do it, then please go book an interview for my mentorship program. Okay. I'd love to talk to you more about it. If you just want some information, please ask me here or send me an email if you want some information. But if you're ready to join, go hit those, hit the interview. The space is limited. Also, time slots for the interview are limited as well. But yeah, if it's for you, by all means. So that's how you guys connect with the spirit world. That's what we need to do. That last puzzle piece is finding your unique way of connecting. Okay. So does that make sense? Does everybody get this? Are there any more questions? All right. I'm happy to talk about anything here. Sunshine, you're welcome. Roxanne, you're welcome. Yes, it makes it hard to be around negativity and disbelievers that block the energy. So don't be around them. That's what I say. Or at least don't talk to them, right? People that don't believe a bit in this, like, I'm not hiding it from anyone. Okay. But I'm also not going to go strike up a conversation or force somebody to talk about something that they don't believe in. Right. That's, I mean, I don't believe in any kind of religion or anything. It'd be like, you know, it'd be like somebody just trying to talk to me about religion, or something else that's crazy. I wouldn't want to listen to it. So yeah, if this is something that you're not into, or it's something that other people aren't into, just keep it to yourself. Don't hide. If they ask, tell them about it. But you'll be surprised about how many people are actually open to this. I get stopped all the time by people that you wouldn't believe, right? Even in my mentorship program, I mean, we've got politicians, doctors, lawyers, there are all kinds of accountants. Like, we've got people from all walks of life. I even have a preacher, right? We've had a couple preachers come through my mentorship program, okay? And so you would be really surprised at who's open to this. If I go into connect, it seldom works. I think I look too hard for it, if that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something that can affect us when we're trying too hard. What we need to be trying to do is, like, listen, we just be easy with your experience and then analyze it. Whoa. So listen, guys, I'm going to get running. This was really good. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time here, and I'll put together another presentation. I'll jump on a live again too. My goal is to do one of these a week, so hopefully, you guys can catch me on the next one. But I would love to see you guys, like those of you in my mentorship program, those of you that are dedicated. I know I've got a couple of you guys that have watched this video. And so if you're on the fence of like, do I want to do this or not? But you feel that pull, you feel that call, you feel that fire within you, and you know that you're meant to do this, take the step. Take the step, all right? Most people that actually come into my program feel the same way. They feel very uncertain if they can do this or not, okay? And, coming down the line, they are very happy that they did. All right. I get emails every day from amazing students that are out there that are changing the world. Right. I have quite a few students that have gone through the program that have become professional readers that are booked 6-12 months out, and they're doing amazing things for the public. And so I love it. It's very satisfying. It's very fulfilling for me knowing that I'm walking in my purpose, doing my job, doing what I have come here to do. Okay. And it's such an amazing feeling. I want to spread that. I want to help as many people achieve that feeling as possible as well. All right. So much love to you all. All right. And we'll see you again soon.